ballet shoes are made here, in a ballet shoe factory. They make 600 pairs of ballet shoes here every week. That's enough ballet shoes to fit 20 classes of children at school. Today we're making ballet shoes out of this pink material called satin. It's lovely and shiny, isn't it? Here you go.
Okay.
First, Rob cuts big squares of satin from the roll and takes them to a machine called a cutting press. Rob uses a cutting press to cut out the pieces we need to make our ballet shoes. And these just work a bit like a cookie cutter. He places a cutter on the folded fabric and then uses the press to push down, and that cuts out the pieces. What do you think it sounds like? I think it sounds like someone shutting a big metal door. Rob also cuts out a shape for the soles of the ballet shoes. That's the part you stand on. Thank you. Now let's go see all these pieces put together. There are lots of sewing machines in this factory, and each one is set up to do a different job. First, Patricia is going to fold and sew the edges to make sure they're nice and neat. It's much quicker for Patricia to sew the edges by keeping all of the pieces strung together like this. They look a bit like clothes on a washing line, don't they? But now they have to be snipped apart with scissors. Julie then sews the top and side pieces of the ballet shoes together. Can you see how quickly the sewing machine can attach the two parts? Here we go. Next, Doreen sews the backs of the ballet shoes together. That's the bit where your heel goes. This bit is called zigzagging because the stitches make a zigzag pattern. The next machine does something called backstrapping. It sews a thin piece of fabric on the outside and the inside of the heel to cover up the zigzag. The last sewing machine does two jobs at once. It's set up so that it sews a piece of material around the edge of the shoe to keep things nice and neat. But also, it threads the drawstring at the same time. The drawstring is the piece of thread that you use to tighten or loosen the shoe, a bit like laces. Wasn't that amazing? It took all of those machines, each of them set up in a special way, to make this shoe. The top part of a ballet shoe is called an upper, and now it's time to attach it to the bottom part of a ballet shoe called the sole. This plastic block is called a last, and it gives the ballet shoe its shape. First, Phil is sticking on a sticky inner sole to the last, and he's pinning it in place so that it doesn't move around. Next, Phil takes the upper and he slips it onto the last and pulls in the edges so they stick to that inner sole. To make sure the sides are fully stuck down, Phil just bashes it with a hammer. And now, this is my favourite bit. Phil's using some pincers to gather the fabric at the toe of the shoe into neat little lines that we call pleats. There are 6 pleats on each side of the shoe. And then he cuts off the excess fabric with a knife. The last thing we need to do is stick on that outer sole, which already has glue on it. A quick check and it's ready to go. Wow, Phil works so fast. He can make around 200 shoes a day. Last thing to do is sew the soles on the ballet shoes so they're strong enough to dance in. Thank you. Look, a finished pair of ballet shoes. Don't they look great?